Do we have any public comment? Yes, we do. First up is Gil Rasmussen.
Mayor and Council, Gil Rasmussen, Wilmar Magazine. I misspoke a moment ago. Councilman Cashman, I have confidence in you. I want to say that publicly. On the other thing, this is the time to cut cops. You stop fighting the marijuana clinic. You cut the animal shelter. You move City Hall to Martin O'Brien, put some double wides over there, and move City Hall there. Cut the lease here, and cut the animal shelter. And you just have to match your revenue. Have there to do it.
Next is Sheryl, and what did you just say? Oh, and you get 3 more minutes from George.
Yep.
Good afternoon, council members and staff. When I heard about this, of course, I know we were barely making it anyway, so having this money cut is almost a death sentence for us. So let me preface this by saying, when you're considering your options today, please remember any cuts are temporary. It's not going to be forever. But also recall, when we hired Gonsalves before, when the legislature came back into session in September, and we were trying to do AB 162, we thought, oh, September. And then we thought, oh, January. And it went on and on and on. So it may be a while. But it won't be forever. And ultimately, they're just going to horse trade up there. They're going to find 2 people here, 2 people there from each side that want something, and they're willing to trade for their votes to amend this. I know that Kevin Jeffries is working on this even now. So my thoughts about how we can survive, renegotiate contracts with the sheriff and animal friends. The leverage is, if we disincorporate, both entities lose our revenue totally. The community has nothing to lose, because if we go back to the county, we're going to have less coverage than when we were unincorporated, because the county, when they cut the sheriffs, the amount of patrol, they weren't thinking, well, Wildemar is going to be unincorporated soon, so we got to take them into account in some of these other cities. So I think it will be worse than prior to incorporation. I know public safety is a big deal, but doing without patrols, or with less patrols, however you can work it, I don't mind that. I'd rather have that than have nobody. Keep fire contract intact for obvious reasons. We're in a high fire area. I really, really think we need to keep their contract intact. If the council would consider cutting go to basic health insurance only for temporary, and I don't know if that's possible, but it's something to consider. The other thing was move City Hall. I said contact Eric Dye and see if his company would consider leasing space to the city for $1 a year. I believe Murrieta and Temecula both did that when they began. I also contacted Buster's office, Mr. Rasmussen and myself, the $186,000 for the community center. We were discussing if it could go to a different district that's still within Wildemar, and so we could have a community center. We could still have it. Now, Dave Stahovich is researching this, and he's going to get back to us this week. So we may be able, if we get that money still, $186,000, we may be able to put modulars up. Maybe it could be a community center / city hall. I don't know. The other thing I said, contact Stan Smith. He has a storage place. If we move out of this building, maybe he'd be willing to donate a couple of storage units to store all the stuff that's upstairs at the front of the building. Staff, I just said cut to the bone, no new hires, no vendors. And whatever you need for, keep city clerk, Nordquist, Frank, our attorney, and whatever you need for public works engineering. And I said I worked full-time at zero pay for 6 years on the incorporation. I would certainly be willing to work part-time at the city for no reimbursement to help us keep going. And I don't know if I can since I was on the council, but I wouldn't have any problem with that. Remember Murrieta shortly after incorporation, when building all came to a stop for 5 years here in the valley, they had to make some very hard decisions, and they had to get rid of some of their fire engines, and they had to lay off some of their fire personnel, and I'm sure that just was very difficult for them to do, but they had to do it. And then something interesting that Kevin Jeffries emailed me back. He said what made this whole situation worse was that we had county sheriffs, city police chiefs, city council members, and county supervisors all across the state who had blindly signed on with the governor's realignment effort before checking to see how much damage it could or would do. Now we are starting to see the damage. So that's why when I emailed, I said, I'm upset with everybody, Republicans, Democrats alike. And the Tea Party people too, because if they'd allowed Brown to go forward and let us vote on the tax extensions, maybe this wouldn't have happened. It should have been up to the people. I don't mind paying another 0.25% tax, sales tax at all. It goes away, we're gonna have more problems with our roads. Are my minutes up yet?
Yeah, I was watching the lights. I don't think the lights working.
I didn't see them come on or go off.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay, well, I would just like to say, just remember, you may make extreme cuts, but it's only gonna be temporary. Thank you.
That's all the speakers I have?
Thank you.
Mayor,
I do have a letter that I wanted that Councilmember Benoit